you run into a wall, you're going fast enough, you're going to bounce.
And it's a little tough to get through some of those walls. 32-30. The Pioneers continue to lead by 2 points, but thanks to Charlie O'Connell and the rest of the Bay Bomber team. Well, mainly on those last 2 plays, Charlie O'Connell, there he is on your screen, number 40, the Big O. They have been unable to score 2 in a row, and I'm now taking a well-deserved rest out on that infield. He put out tremendous effort. Him and Stafford 2 plays in a row. They just kept trying.
But this could be a precedent, Don. This is maybe what the Bombers need. O'Connell trying to come forward.
Jammers are on, moving on the play. There's only 18 seconds remaining in the period, and it's on the jam. Pioneer Jammers taking off. They've got 2 with a good size of a lead. They're pouring it on. A race against time. 10 seconds left to go. Bill Grohl back to do the blocking for the Bay Bombers. First jammer comes in. Hit back, foot down. Grohl dumping. Stall. Perez hit back. Time running short. They have 2 seconds. 1, and time runs out as Mallory slips. No score, but a tremendous effort out there by both clubs. So the score at the end of the 6th skating period, as we leave you for a commercial break, is the Pioneers 32, the Bay Bombers 30. Out here at the Kezar Pavilion today as they get behind the Bay Bombers going into the final women's period of this game, the 7th skating period, with the Pioneers leading 32-30 over the Bay Bombers. The women have just taken the track and the Jammers have broken out. Sherry Eric moving on for the Pioneers. 34 is Dolores Tucker, 35 is Judy McGuire, and 51 is Dolores Holmes, last season's Women's Rookie of the Year. Eric moving up, good elbow blocks into Dolores Tucker. Tucker takes over the lead of that jam, coming out of the Pioneer turn, down the straightaway now. Secondary Jammers are also there. Good elbow block again back. Women, they've got a long way to go. They've got to catch the rear of the pack. That's where they pick up the points. Jammers making their way on the rear. It'll be women's captain Jamie. Oh, good elbow blocks in by Tucker. And Eric going down. Good combination of blocks, Tim.
Fawcett hit the ground.
That's what she reminds you of. Very beautiful girl.
Very beautiful.
It's Jan Ballo back on defense at the rear for the Pioneers. An elbow block thrown back again by women's captain Jan Ballo. Now she sends Eric back to maybe unwind some of that came into her earlier on the jam. Elbow block again, thrown back by Sherry Eric. Good shoulder block as Tucker was off balance, put down hard. The pack almost at a dead standstill now as the Bombers try and lock it up to give Tucker additional scoring opportunity. Elbow block again to the outside. Hits her back, slows her down, rides her high up along the rail. Eric staying right with her, stays right on top of her. Another elbow block thrown back. Driven up to the rail, time of the jam starting to expire, and it's over. Time of the jam is over, but Tucker and Eric squaring off. Officials trying to separate the 2 women. Penalties called up there, I'm sure. 1-minute penalties both ways. 1 on Eric and 1 on Tucker. Unnecessary roughness.
Well, that's when you start getting into the competitive angle of one person wiping out another person on a jam, and then in turn Ballo set her up, so to speak, and then Eric came back and polished off Eric. When the jam ended, they continue.
I remember a game, Kim Money, Brooklyn Red Devils versus the Bay Bombers, Oakland Auditorium, and I think it goes back to about 1963. The jam was over for almost about 30 seconds, and you and O'Connell were still belting away at each other. Not fighting, but I mean just blocking and going. You left the pack about twice.
Well, that's true. I mean, a lot of times you don't hear the referee's whistle. It's a team competition. You could hear the people responding to the action, and you're not aware of it, actually. You know, as far as you're concerned, the person is still trying to pass me, and I'm trying to keep them from passing. And that's the reason why sometimes you get involved in these overactivities after the whistle, so to speak.
Pack is reorganized, whistle sounding, and the Jammers going out. Bay Bombers have a double scoring threat. 39, Carol Petersmeyer. 31 is Terry Lewis. Pioneers with Kathy Boas out. 55 and 53 is Catherine Shaw. All 4 Jammers potential scorers out and moving on the play. Both teams are at a disadvantage with skaters in the penalty box. Meyer has the lead on that jam. Lewis attempting to slow down both of the Pioneer Jammers and give Meyer the scoring option. It's going to be Jan Ballo back on defense. 57 for the Pioneers. Meyer makes a bit to the outside. Hit back, being carried by Ballo. And a warning going out. Again a warning going out, but Meyer is caught between the leg and the elbow. Jan Ballo carried back, and Ballo driving Meyer into the rail. Wes Weston still trying to stop the other skater from scoring. Meyer hung up on that rail right now. Skater put down. Vallow up over the top, driving, going down as well. Meyer's shaken up. And time of the jam starts to expire with 2-1. It's over.
Vallow put a fierce block on right at the end of that jam. It was just fierce block. No score on that play.
So the score at the end, or not at the end, but as a timeout is being called here in the 7th skating period. The Pioneers 32, the Bay Bombers 30. And again, a timeout has been called. Between the Pioneers and the Bay Bombers. Pioneers lead by 2 as they have dominated most of this game. 32-30 over the Bay Bombers.
Vallow can thank the referees for that last one because she got played with larceny on that one.
It was definitely holding out there. Again, we run into that same situation, though. Again, when it's to the outside, it's tough to see.
Very true, because Vallow's an old, experienced player. She kept her everything to the outside. The referees on the inside, they're doing a tremendous job. I'm not just trying to discredit the referees. You could put 10 men out there, it wouldn't make any difference. They're doing a tremendous job. It's just that everything they cannot catch, and what you see on TV should not discredit the referees.
Back being reorganized. Whistle sounding. Cameras up and moving. 35. Judy McGuire going out. Jan Vallow coming out after McGuire. Comes in with a block. McGuire spun off the rail. And the Pioneers, again, the only potential scorer out moving on this play. Women's captain, number 57, Joan Weston, dropping back on. This is going to be women's captain against women's captain. Weston dropping back on defense for the Bay Bombers. And Vallow casually moving in, apparently unafraid of the power of Joan Weston at the rear of that pack. She is a tremendous skater herself, so there shouldn't be too much of a problem. However, she is now called back for assistance. And it is Sherry Eric, 58, who is dropping back. Eric cannot score. She can only help to assist. The pack slowed down. Eric trying to take Weston out, but the blocks don't take. Vallow yet to make a move. Vallow moves up. Good elbow block in by Johnny Weston. Another elbow block thrown back by Weston. Tucker comes back with a block now. Weston back. Good solid elbow block. Tucker set and waiting. Vallow comes up. Another elbow block as they alternate. Vallow has been done by Tucker. There is a penalty on Dolores Tucker. Blocking without a helmet. It's illegal. You can't do it. And Vallow driving Tucker as the time of the jam has run out. I don't know if they're going to get a score on that kid or if not.
Well, the funny part is, on that particular play, I mentioned, they're bound to get a score out of it because you've got a blocker blocking illegally with no helmet on. So naturally, it makes an illegal blocker, and as long as you put a block on a person, you're entitled to a point because they're not supposed to. The rules are that simple. It's just a shame that she didn't get her helmet.
Yes, it is. They can strap them on a little bit tighter if they want to. 33-30, Pioneers lead by a full 3 points right now. At a crucial point, only 4 minutes, 5 seconds left to go here in the 7th period. Vallow immediately going to Weston up in that pack. And the Jammers trying to work their way up and out. Terry Lewis is back in the lineup after taking a hard spill out there a couple of jams ago. Tremendous effort by all of these teammates.
Well, you got tremendous athletes. They're conditioned. They're ready for this, what they have to do, and they do it. And damn it, I take my head off to them. And that's about all I can say, Don.
Okay, here we go. As they move into scoring position at the rear of the pack, it's Jan Vallow back on defense. A forearm block stopping Terry Lewis from scoring. Vallow going to work back there is drawing a warning. And Lewis has been checked at the rail. Weston now stopping the Pioneer Jammer from moving around the outside. That's Dolores Holmes. Holmes again attempting to score. Moves up, coming up out of that turn, down to straightaway. Holmes moves forward. Weston set. Elbow block. Stops him from scoring again. Vallow back with the blocks to Terry Lewis. Lewis again belted back. There's a skater put into the rail. Lewis also put into the rail. Both Jammers are back up and moving, but time is running out against them. And no score on the play. Good effort and good defensive blocking. Pioneers lead 33-30 over the Bay Bombers here in the 7th skating period.
Don, actually, it looks like if Bombers don't put it together, they've got the Pioneers been dominating the game. They're leading by 3 points again. We're right back in the same situation. And it just seems like the Pioneers, if they can eliminate Jan Vallow, which is probably the backbone of the whole team, that might be great. Because every time Jan Vallow's been in the box, the Bombers have been able to do something. They've been picking up points. But as long as Jan Vallow is in there, it's not possible. And right now the score is 33-30, and the Bombers got to put it together. Weston's got to get her team. She's got to do it.
2 minutes remaining here in this period. Back reorganized. Whistle sounding. Jammers coming up and out. 34. Tucker starts that jam. Jammer 34 is Dolores Tucker. Joan Weston also out moving on the play. Sherry Eric out for the Pioneers, being slowed down. Dump by Dolores Tucker. Now it's Weston and Tucker moving off. 33-30. Bombers with a double scoring threat, and all 5 of the Pioneers being kept in that pack. Eric Vallow forming a double block at the rear. Both Weston and Tucker, 34. They're the only ones that can score right now. They move into scoring position. Weston sent flying in and over the rail. Tucker still trying to fight her way through the middle of that double block. Pioneer jammer breaking out late, long ways back. Tucker being belted back by both of the Pioneers. Weston coming up with the Bay Bombers. Weston to the inside. She scored. Tucker breaks loose for the middle. And Tucker quickly caught again by Jan Vallow back there. Weston coming in. We've got jam called off. The jam has been called off. The jam has been called off on the play. However, I believe there were points scored. There were a total of 4 Bay Bomber points picked up on the play. 4 Bay Bomber points, Ken. And the Bombers will go to the lead 34-33 here in the 7th period with 30 seconds remaining.
You know, being right at the end of the girls' period with only 25 seconds remaining, I believe that was just a tout-off saying, you can't run over us. And what they did, I don't know if there's a penalty called on that or not. Evidently there wasn't, but they told Jan Vallow as much as,
cool it.
Better do it someplace else.
You better cool it right at this point. So the men are standing by, 34-33, and the seconds ticking off the clock here in the 7th skating period. 1, it's over.
I would hate to see if them split in overtime, you know, to get back up.
So the score at the end of the 7th period, Bombers 34, Bay Bombers 30, or Pioneers 33, and a timeout being called here on the track. Pioneers, Bob Hine coming out after Gavin slips in the turn. And the Bay Bombers now have the only jammer out moving. Number 35, Mike Gammon. That's the man on your screen right now. Pioneers without anybody. It's going to be JoJo Stafford back to do the blocking for the Pioneers. Bombers at a great advantage. They lead by 1. Gammon set and waiting, waiting for the right opportunity. Makes a bid, jumps to the inside, jumps back, high to the outside, trying to scramble around the outside, trying to beat out Stafford. Hine comes up with a block. Picks him off. Good effort up there by Hine. He's keeping alert. Gammon again looking for that right opportunity. Moves in low, jumps high, back to the outside. Gammon sidestepping, trying to go by, still going. Gammon making another bid. Sidesteps Corporez. Quick moves out there. Underneath Stafford. Wow. Gammon still going. Trying to help him. Going for the pass. Johnny O'Connell reaching back as a whip. Gammon off that whip. Going for more. Comes in low. Gammon picking up a grand slam. 5 Bay Bomber points. Kim, you don't see it too often.
You know.
A standing ovation here at Kezar Pavilion.
I'll tell you what, I'm standing up, Donald, myself. This is when the hair starts standing up on the back of your neck. And the beautiful part is, it's an individual effort. Here's one man coming in, passing 3 men, finally gets a whip over O'Connell. And Gammon, with the tremendous speed he has, and the tremendous power that O'Connell has, coming off a whip, goes by to pass 2 men. And I don't know.
Picks it up, a grand slam.
We got a replay coming up. This is something beautiful to see. You've got to admire this. It's
The first 3 points Ken picked up on individual effort. Then it came through.
You ain't kidding. Here he comes. Look at that sidestep. Then he's coming up forward again. He's already gone by 3 men. Here comes the whip O'Connell I was talking about. Look at him scoot low. Scoot low. Team effort.
Right there, calls it off. 5 points.
Yeah.
Bombers lead 39-33.